What's up everybody? Today I will be presenting to you our AP Government Forever project, which is a website that allows a user to learn everything about the budgeting process. So here's just a quick overview of the budgeting process, and I'll move on to our website. So our website allows you to learn everything there is to know about the budgeting process, as I said before, and it's very interesting because we have 5 articles that we have written. After the user has read all 5 articles, they're able to proceed and move on to the game that we have after this. So every time you read an article, the progress bar will increment by 20%, and once it reaches 100%, a play button will appear, and then you will be able to play our game. So let's move on to step 1. Here, we discuss basic information about the budget. The budget is a document that helps the government allocate money to things. Deficit is the difference between how much the government spends and makes, which are expenditures and revenues respectively. This deficit goes into the federal debt, which is the amount of money that the government has spent and not paid back. So here is all about step 1. So let's move on to step 2. Just notice, as you guys see, the current progress bar has risen up to 20%. So let's move on to step 2. In this section, we will discuss the general history of the President's and Office of Management and Budget's role in making the budget. Because of the accumulated debt from the arms race from World War I, Congress passed the Budget and Accounting Act to get the President to propose a budget to Congress. After this step has passed, we'll move on to step 3. Notice it went up to 40%. This section discusses the role of the President and the OMB in deciding the budget. The OMB goes to each agency and gathers their projections of how much they'll need. The President then takes this info and creates guidelines and targets for the fiscal year, and then the OMB takes this to the info to the agencies to provide projections. The OMB then holds hearings and gives the President recommendations about the budget. The budget is finally reviewed by the President, and the proposal is then submitted to Congress. So after the President has finished everything up, we move on to step 4. This section talks about the history of Congress's role in the budget and its schedule. Before, Congress had no schedule. So in 1974, Congress passed the Congressional Budget and Empowerment Control Act, giving Congress a fixed calendar, a budget committee in each house, and established the Congressional Budget Office. Each step must be completed by a certain date so the agencies can spend the money for the fiscal year. And by following these dates, you're allowed to streamline the entire budget process. So here is the entire schedule, which is also shown to you guys at the beginning of the video. So now, step 4 is done, 80% completed. Now we move on to the final article, which is step 5. This section discusses Congress's role in the budget. The House takes the President's budget proposal and passes budget resolutions, which set guidelines and limits to spending. There's a difference. A joint committee or joint committees resolve them, and the final result is voted in both chambers. Appropriation committees cover different areas of the budget, holding hearings with leaders of the agencies and write and drafts of appropriation bills. These appropriation bills are then voted into each house, and the conference committees are formed to reconcile the bills. And finally, the budget is voted on in each house. If it passes, it goes on to the President for a signature to be then used in the next fiscal year. This is when dramatic things happen, like government shutdown. So as you guys can see, all 5 of the articles have been read, and now we have the play button magically appearing. Here's just a slideshow of all of our images. We'll click play. So, in the game, the user is able to draft a custom budget. Being able to use sliders to determine how much money goes into each budget item. Every one value is approximately $1 billion in real life. However, the user must be careful because they are penalized for a budget that would cause debt, which is shown in the bottom. When they think that they found a good balance of the budget, they can then send the budget to Congress for approval. Notice how I will just be going ahead and finding a good balance. All these values are all randomized. how well are you able to formulate a plan for these senators? So remember, I only 17 debt, but I think that's fine. So now the bill is then sent to the Senate chamber where the budget is evaluated by various senators. Due to visibility issues, there are not 100 senators, but it still moderately represents the decision process. If the user's budget, aka me, gets 50% of the Senate approval, the budget is then accepted and the user